Aloha! Happy Sunday, back to back, another one. We just finished the thumbnail, Florida, Clearwater. As I promised, I got stuff done, not as much as I wanted to, but I had to get back to the second thumbnail, which I promised you, San Lucas, Cabo San Lucas. To Mexico, kids. It's different water than Florida. Still kind of warm, maybe even the same temperature. I'd have to Google and find that out. I felt like it's about the same. We got a vacation. All right, I go on a vacation. Now, this is with I had mentioned this girl in the past, Sue. Sue, who said I made an episode on it. She says there's naked and there's naked. That one. And that would be the episode. I don't remember the number, but the episode is naked, excuse me, versus naked. There is a difference. I went through that. I'm not going over it again. But this is the girl I'm out now vacationing with in Cabo San Lucas. And how that happened was, excuse me, I got a frog in my throat. We're going to go gigging. So we decided we were kind of going together. And she says, we're going to go on a vacation. You get to pick first, and then I get to pick. Where do you want to go? I said, well, I don't care. I don't care where we go in the world, but I want to have the best fishing because I'm a fisherman, as you well know, or you don't. But I enjoy fishing. Ever since I was 4, I've gone over that. I was almost off the dock. Gramps grabs me by the back of my pants. It was almost falling down. And I didn't let go of that. I was 4 years old. I never let go of that pole. He knew I was going to be I was hooked on that big 5 foot, 4 to 5 pound sunfish, which I don't know if they make anymore. Lake Apacon, New Jersey. Anybody? Hey. So I am saying I don't care where I go for this vacation, except it has to be the best. And she says, I'll check it out for you. She comes back like I don't know, she got on the computer. Best fishing. Cabo San Lucas. It's one of the, I guess, top 10. It was for marlin. She says, the best marlin in the world. I said, that's where we're going. I don't even know where Cabo is, let alone San Lucas. I knew it was in Mexico, but I wasn't quite sure. I find out later that that's where the pirates, they came in. That's where they came in to get the fresh water. So anybody having problems with Mexico, you know, that little bug they got that everybody's used to over there, but you coming in for the first time enjoying water, I'd be careful on your ice cubes, on your salad, anywhere that you're not thinking about there could be water, all right? And just put it on the back shelf. So I said, yeah, that's where we're going to go. So we saved up, I don't know, 6 months worth. And then she got the tickets. She went to a, what do you call it? Those people that say, oh, yeah, we'll get the tickets for you. We'll get to play the reservation people. Be careful of those kids. Tell your parents, your everybody that's taking care of you. If you're going on vacation, say, oh, if it's a tourist guide, people that make the ticket stuff out for you, make sure, double check. For instance, if you're going like to Cabo for marlin, how's the weather? Is the weather okay? That'd be a good question. We didn't do that. Put that on the back shelf. We decide on Cabo. We saved enough for it. I wanted extra money just in case, you know. So we get there, and the first thing I say, I got to find out who's chartering a boat. So it was Captain Jack. This guy named Captain Jack. And I did a little research. And I talked to him and asked other captains. Said, "Yeah, you want to Marlin? Go to Captain Jack." So I went over to Captain Jack. I said, "Hey, I understand you got a boat. I can rent here with you and your crew. I got my girlfriend here. We want to catch some marlin." He says, "I'm your man." I said, yeah, well, what kind of experience do you have? He says, I was here in the early 60s when Jacques Cousteau was here. And he went diving in. There were sharks and all that. Yeah, blah, blah. I didn't know sharks. Well, sharks? He was swimming with sharks? Yeah, he was. He had the camera and everything. I was there. I was with him. I was doing all that. I said, Jacques Cousteau? The Jacques Cousteau, the guy from France, that guy that speaks kind of broken English, France, that guy, Jacques Cousteau. Yeah, I was there. He says that's when it came, and he couldn't leave. I love this water. It's fantastic water. That's when I married this girl, and well, we got a cantina, and I couldn't have this boat or the land we got unless I married her. So I was in love. I've married her. Okay, well, that sounds reasonable. Got to be in love to get married, kids. Hopefully. So we're out on the boat, going from Marlin. Here they are, laying on top of the water. I'm saying, why are they laying on top of the water? He said, the water's the water's 5 degrees too cold. So they're up on top swimming or laying there to sun. They're sunning. And I thought later on, I think there might have been something else. There might have been. So I said, why don't we go? I got an oar. There's an oar here. We're close. I can club one of them. I could club a marlin. Bring him. He says, nah, yeah. See that big boat over there? It's not too far away. And yeah, it's the federales. The federales are waiting for you to do something like that, though. It's against the law. Oh, it's against the law. Okay, so we throw our lines. Oh, I forgot about it. This is so important. Before we get on the boat, he's got some crew members, a couple guys, and they're bringing on fish for bait. Actually, I didn't know it was for bait. They're bringing on, they were about this big. And do you know what they were? Of all things, they were halibut. They were at least the size that Gramps, in the last episode, he was gigging them. Nanny made a fantastic, And I said, I got excited. I said, oh my goodness, I said, I got to have some of the mullet. I got to have one of those. They're tasty. And he looks at me like I was crazy. He said, this is our bait. I said, your bait? He says, yeah, you don't eat this. This is bait. Said, really? Yeah. So see, kids, where I was eating mullet, thinking it was a delicacy, these guys over there think it's, so everybody thinks something positive and negative, no matter where you go. These guys wouldn't eat it. Yeah. I'll get more into that down the road. Not on this one, but I got something for you. Just keep it on the back shelf. Different tastes of fish and who can cook them, who can cook the fish properly, like carp. Just keep that on the back shelf. It'll come full circle someday when I say, yeah, remember Cabo? And then I'll have that one, okay? So we got these guys saying it's no positive fish. We're going to use it for bait. I said, boy, that's awful big bait. And they said, yeah, well, these are big marlin. Yeah, really? Wow. Cool. That's what I want. I want marlin. So here they are laying on top of the water. Big marlin. And I can't even get one because the water's too cold. So we're going for, then Captain Jack says, yeah, but right over here, if we go right over here, we got some yellowtail. Yellowtail, they get kind of big. Okay, if we have to. So I throw my line out. I'm not getting really anything. And Sue throws hers out there. It must have been, I don't know, 11 minutes later, and all of a sudden her pole goes down like this, and she's like reeling for like maybe 3 minutes, and I can't. Would you take my pole? I said, no, dear, no. It is a fisherman's law. Once you catch a fish, you've got to reel it in. I think another 30 seconds, and she was almost in tears. I said, yeah, give me your pole. 18 to 22 minutes later, I'm pulling in an 84-pound yellowtail. yellowfin tent. And I know because when we got back, uh, we waited, and that was the other blah blah story that this captain told me that was a lie that I didn't know about until later. He says we're a very poor village, and the law is whatever you catch, the captain always gets half. Yeah, all right, 84 pounds. Heck, I can take 42 pounds back. You know, I'm not greedy. So we get it all. They dress it all out, and he says, "This is all wrapped up now. 42 pounds for me." And he says, "Make sure." And he puts on the ice chest. He says, "Make sure that when you go back to the hotel, you get a ticket stub." I said, "Oh, okay." He said, "Because sometimes they lose that ticket. You don't get your fish." I said, "Really? That happens?" He says, "Well, especially if you don't get a ticket. Make sure you get a ticket." Okay, I'll make sure I get a ticket. So we go to the cantina. We have whatever he's having, and his wife serves us the food. And after the meal, you know, I leave a $20 tip, you know. And he says, no, that's way too much, you know. So okay, and I think Sue threw $5, and he was happy with that. Excuse me, I wasn't happy with it because they're a poor village. They're a poor village. So I went around the corner. Well, I said, I got to go to the bathroom. So I get up, and boy, those bathrooms could have been cleaned a little more, but that's beside the point. When I come out of the bathroom, here she is, you know, working on a table. And I took a 20 and I gave it to her. I guess he saw that. I didn't know he saw that. When I went back to sit down, he got up, he went over, and he took the $20 away from his wife. I thought that was sort of negative. Why would he do that? Why couldn't she have her own? Because I guess he didn't want her to have her own money or something. So, I don't know. Somewhere during the course of everything, when he wasn't looking, I went over and I gave her, put 20 in her pocket. I said, "Hey, give it down." She was so happy. So, I don't know. Some people are like that, kids. They just don't want you to have anything, maybe. It's kind of negative. Well, not on my watch. She was going to get my tip no matter what. And I just said, keep it on the down low, that's all. So after that, right after that, we go back to the hotel. And I put my fish, and I say to the guy, I said, here's, no, that's what, I said, here, I just caught this fish. And he goes exactly like this. Fish! Like that, like I'm thinking, what is it, mullet? No, I got yellowtail here. No, he was very, very negative on my fish. I said, well, and by the way, I would like a ticket. The ticket? Yeah, I want a ticket for this fish. And he goes and gives me a ticket. Put that on the back shelf. I get it put away in the freezer. Because that's what Captain Jack said. They'll put it in the freezer for you until you're gone. And that was like, I don't know, like 4 days from now, right? So I don't know, we went all different places and all that, blah, blah, blah. And so finally about the, I guess it was August, August 22nd, around that time period. Don't narrow it down. I believe it was when Hurricane Andrew, yeah, 1992. Something in the back of my mind, I remember Andrew, but not at that moment. Because when we went out to the beach, the waves were really, really high. Well, as I said in the past, I surfed, you know, a couple times on the board, but I was mainly a body surfer. Okay, we were poor, couldn't afford a board. So in Jersey, I was a body surfer, skimming across the water, and then in California, I could do the same thing. Florida, only really when kind of a storm would come, and then you could do it then. And that's basically what I think was happening that I didn't realize, see, kids, that we didn't really check when the storms were in Cabo. Happens to be just August and September. And going in October, but definitely starting in that time period. So here the waves are, I kid you not, at least anywhere from 4.5 to 6 foot high, depending on what waves are coming in. And Sue says, "Look at those waves." I said, yeah, those are pretty nice waves. She says, you're a body surfer. You tell me you're a body surfer. Could you body surf though? I said, yeah, but it looks like the tide might be going out a little bit. I don't know if it's really coming out or going out. I'm not sure. She said, but you used to be a body surfer. Why don't you go out and catch a wave? I said, yeah, okay, I guess I will. So I swam out, and I can't really say if it might have been a little rip tide going that way because I do recall going out a good little distance, and I said, ooh, I don't want to go out any further. I don't know. I just had a feeling about things. I wasn't even thinking about sharks. All right, I was just thinking. I've been in riptides before, and I don't. You don't go out too far, kids, because it's hard to get back. You have to go. This little secret to that is you got to maybe swim a couple miles that way, and then come back to shore. That's a good way of doing it, rather than just tiring yourself out coming back the way you got pushed out. All right, put that on the back shelf. So I'm out there far enough to where I'm saying, well, I guess I better start counting these waves so I can catch the biggest wave I can. Yeah, that's what people think when they want to catch a wave and surf or body surf or whatever, because this is what you do. So what it's between. I remember in Jersey between I don't know 7 and 9 waves or so, and I said, well, I'll start counting now. And I started 1 wave, 2 wave, 3 wave, 4 wave, and I said, "Wow, that one right there looks pretty positive for me." It was the seventh wave. You know how I am about seven, very spiritual. So I said, "That's the one I'm going to take." So when I turned around and it was coming on me, I took off and paddled, and I was skimming like I never skimmed before on top of the water. That wave was pushing me like nobody's business. Yeah, I had the best ride of my life out of all the times that I body surfed. I was skimming across the water so much that when I hit shoreline, there's different depths of. Well, anyway, on Cabo, what happens is it doesn't go down like 6 feet or so. In Jersey, you go out about 3 feet and you're about 6 foot down. Cabo is pretty much gradually going down. So when I was skimming across the water, kids, when I was skimming, I hit the land with a lot of speed. And I got pushed all the way up on the shore on top of the sand with my chest, my bare chest. And when I looked down, I don't know, I couldn't see my nipples or something. I don't know. I was just like, there was like, I don't know, a lot of blood and stuff. And she's looking at, and I stood up, hey, I'm okay. And she said, you're bleeding. I said, yeah, it's okay. It's all right. She says, why don't you go back out in the water and wash it off because salt water is very good to heal wounds. I said, yeah, okay, that sounds pretty positive. So I went back out in the water, bloody, and I was waist deep, splashing around, the waves coming in and everything. And I never thought about how blood attracts sharks. As I said in episode 20, I believe it was 20. I got that one. Sharks. It was snakes and sharks. That episode. When I was climbing up on the cliff, and I was like 9 inches away from that rattler that was rattling away, and how you can handle it if something like that happens. And then right after that, I said I didn't know if it was at Malibu, when I was in Malibu, if it was the beach of Rio Carrillo or Zuma, and then we narrowed it down. It was Zuma Beach that I was pretty far out there, and then that 3 foot fin that everybody was looking at except me because I was a quarter mile out or so, and they're all screaming, but I couldn't hear it because I was too far away, and they were waving, and I was waving back, and they were really saying, come back. And then I felt that feeling of something immense around me. I didn't want to really look around. I had a feeling that I didn't want to be tested that way because I was feeling a little fear, and I said, nope, not on my watch. And then I had mentioned there that it's like one drop of blood. A shark can smell like 2 miles away. So here I'm out in the water, I'm doing that, and then I'm starting to think, well, good gravy, are there any sharks out here? And then I thought, well, I do recall him saying, Captain Jack, that Jacques Cousteau was swimming with the sharks. and he mentioned that there was the whale shark the bull shark, the silky shark, and then he did mention the great white shark. And when he said the great white shark, that's what I was thinking about when I was washing and splashing out in the water. Maybe it's not a good time. So I got out. And, well, it was the next, well, before I went out there and I did all this, all the native people that lived around there, I said, hey guys, is it pretty safe to go out there and do some body surfing? I don't know, maybe they didn't understand me or something. They just smiled, yeah. They, I have to be judgmental. They didn't say anything, but I think they might have known that there was a hurricane coming because they lived there. And when there's a hurricane coming, you don't want to really go out into the water because, well, no, sharks could be around there, you know. And I didn't know that there was a hurricane coming until the next day when we got up for breakfast and we went down to the breakfast hall. They had all breakfast all over the place. Pretty nice hotel. And there's these three guys over in a corner. One of them has a white bandage around his head. One has a cast, like a broken arm. Another guy has a cast, a broken leg. And I'm looking over at them, and they're looking at me now. What am I looking at? And I said, I sort of picked it up telepathically to where I said, body surfing? And they all said, yeah. I said, okay, makes sense because how else could you get that beat up, you know? I mean, just something because I was thinking, if I caught the wave negatively, I would have been rolled around and everything, like maybe that's what happened to them, which it did. I got a really nice skimming off the water. I'm just saying, I was very fortunate I caught the right wave. Okay, seventh wave. So after that, Sue and I go out back out to the water. What do I see? All down the whole side of where there used to be homes, there was not a home to be seen as far as the eye can see. Really, there was no homes. All there was slabs of cement. All right, and I thought, yeah, there was something pretty big happening here, and I didn't find out until years later that that was Hurricane Andrew that came through, and it was let's see, oh, what was it? A five, a five, five. They got a scale from one, and I had to Google. I had to Google how big was Andrew, and it was a five. And I thought, well, how many numbers are there? Five, five. They want to go to six. They want to go to six, but it's still at five. Five is total destruction. So I was precursing out. I was skimming around water. See, that was only like 4.5, maybe 6 foot high waves. But if you think about it, with 175-mile-an-hour winds, those waves had to get anywhere from 8 to 10 feet high. But I didn't see that. I was in a hotel. I don't know, relaxing. It was a little windy, but I didn't really think about anything until the next day when I saw those guys. I went out to the water and I saw what I saw. No homes, no more homes. So that's what I was trying to say, kids. Recently, before I did this, I had to Google. I know I was in a hurricane, but what kind of hurricane was it? So there it was. It was the Andrew. It's the Andrew. So be careful, kids, when you go on a vacation, that you are going during a time period where there's no hurricanes. Okay. I just wanted to say that because this is a short one. It's just when you go to Cabo, make sure it's not during August, September, and October. It's probably best not to. Other than that, told you it'd be a short one, but it's pretty prevalent with water. How you have to be careful with water, and when you're swimming, make sure it's not many sharks. I got one more with sharks when I Bro will be involved in that one. It'll be under full moon eclipse 1975. That'll be perfect. I was in Myrtle Beach playing out in the water during the full moon eclipse, which was nighttime, playing a frisbee, slapping the water. That'll be another time. But until then, I want everybody out there to be careful and to have mighty victory the rest of the week until I see you next Sunday. So until then, aloha and be well.